Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today I have a guest stamper with me, Summer Mosier.
Hello.
Summer was part of the 2017 Stamp-A-Palooza team, and Summer facilitated this Halloween card that's got kind of a double flap. It opens one way and then it opens the other way. Let's get started making this fun fold card. So let's take a little closer look at the card. Again, the flap opens from right to left and then up and down, and it reveals the sentiment. And no matter which way the flap goes, there's a design element on each one. And so we think that's what makes this card pretty fabulous. And it does use, most of the products in here, or on this card, are from the Spooky Night Designers, or the Spooky Suite from Stampin' Up's 2017 Holiday Catalog. So let's get started making this cute fun fold.
Okay, one of the first steps we're going to do is to make this front flap right here, and we used a 3x6 piece of basic black, and we embossed it with the Woodlands embossing folder. I have that here. If you've got the kit, then it's already going to be embossed for you. Isn't that pretty? And you're going to want to emboss it before you put the sparkly circle on there, otherwise it won't fit. Okay, after we've embossed our front flap, we're going to work on the base of the card, and that's this here. But we're going to leave out the very vanilla. We don't need that quite yet. That's going to be one of our last steps. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our base here, which is basic black, and it's a 5.5 by 4.5.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote that down wrong,
I think
Summer.
It's 4 1/4.
It is 4 1/4. My notes are wrong.
Everybody knows that. Okay, and then we're gonna layer it here with the Spooky Night, which is cut in 5.5 by 3.5, and you want to just, oh, isn't that paper pretty? Move this out of the way.
I know this DSP, this designer paper, there's not a bad design in the bunch. I love all of them.
Just a little bit of Tombow there. And you're going to want to put it flush to one side. There, as I get glue all over. Okay, so that's put onto our card base. And now we're going to put this little sliver of glimmer paper. And I am pretty heavy-handed with the Tombow. So I use the fine tip glue pen when I do this. Otherwise, I get glue everywhere. And that's not an exaggeration. And what I did is I just put a little dash of glue right there on the corner, right next to, oops, got a little squirrely there. It's because people are watching.
Oh my gosh, Summer, I've never done it like that, and I think I will be doing it that way from now on. I've always taken it to the glimmer paper.
Yeah.
I know, isn't that good, Lincoln? We've got somebody here watching us.
Yes. We do.
It's a family stamp time.
There we go. Okay, now that we've got the base done, we want to position this so we know where to punch our hole. And I just did it the easy way. I put it flush to the side, and I lined it up, and then I just kind of folded over. And then I went back with my bone folder.
Nice.
Okay, so I've just folded it over to find the fold mark, and I folded it a little. You'll see that it's a little crooked, and that's easily fixed because when you put it on, I used this two-sided tear and tape. And if you just put it at the edge, which is cut nice and straight, better than my human folding there, it gives you a little wiggle room to position it.
This is always my tricky part, Summer, is like on camera to try to get it to start, you know, when the pressure's on.
Ha! Look at that. So I put it where it needed to go, and I just make sure it's got that nice.
And again, we're just lining up the left side is what, you know, we're doing is to make sure that left side is flush with the card base.
And then just give it a little smooth, make sure that that tape's on there. And there you go. And I know that you think you can see that there, and you're like, Summer, that doesn't look clean. But we have, if you look at this one, it actually has two bases, and we will cover that up. All right, you may be looking at this and thinking, oh, it needs a hole in it, a circle. And so we're gonna punch that. And you feel free to punch it before you hook it to your card, but do make that mark, otherwise you're not quite sure where to put your punch. And we're gonna use the 2-inch circle punch. And I kind of just eyeball it.
If it's something that you want to make sure you have it exactly where it is, you can always punch out the 2-inch circle on a scrap piece and just Now with snail adhesive, just lightly tack it down to the position and then punch over your template, and it'll work that way too.
I live on the wild side. Let's see how this turned out.
Ooh,
not too bad.
Good job, Summer. Good job. Let's take a look at it, Lincoln. Lincoln gives his approval too.
Now we're gonna add the glimmer paper circle border, and if you got the to-go kit, we have this already punched out for you, and it's made with the layering circle dies. I'm gonna flip the card this way so we don't get any glue on that pretty DSP. I'm gonna use the fine tip glue pen again, and I am horrible at glue, so I always just put it where, if it's something like this, I put it exactly where I need it, because if I try to put it on this little circle border, it's gonna end up all over my fingers, it's gonna end up everywhere. Let me just kind of place it right on top of there, give a little press all the way around, and it should stick. Okay, now we've got that on there, we're gonna work on the sentiment. And as you'll see here, open my little cap, it's placed right here, and I don't have an exact measurement for you of where to put it in here, I just kind of eyeball it. So I take this 5.5 by 2.5 piece of Very Vanilla, and I just kind of eyeball where I want to put it. And make sure you close the flap so that, you know, no sides are peeking out. And then you can, if you'd like, tack it in there before you put your sentiment. And the sentiment we're using today is from the Season to Sparkle stamp set. Isn't that beautiful? I love this. And we're going to use the Happy Halloween sentiment. Okay, so I can see that in there, and I'm just going to go for it because, like I said before, I live on the wild side. So I'm going to put a little Tombow on the back of here. And if you're thinking at home, no, don't do that. There's better ways. Be sure to just use those on your own. But I have 3 kids and only a limited amount of time of stamping, so I had to go quickly. So it's right there. Looks good to me.
And really, guys, don't get too stressed out about that, because just don't press firmly on whatever adhesive that you use. Yeah, that way you can pull it up or you can shift it.
I'm going to double check, and look, everything's covered.
Yes. And I'm going to grab in here real quick, Summer. So again, what we just want to make sure is that there's, like, wherever you position the Very Vanilla piece, that you don't want it hanging out, you know, on the right side at all, and you don't want to put it so far over that you can see your designer paper, so that we have room for our little sentiment.
Okay, so now we're going to put the sentiment in, and like I said, we're going to use the sentiment from Season to Sparkle, and we're going to use pumpkin pie. I do want to give you a little bit of warning. You want to make sure that you don't put your sentiment too low, because our pumpkin's going in there. So just a little bit at the top half where it will fit. If it turns out like you think you have it too low, just position your pumpkin a little lower. It's super easy to fix. So we're going to stick this right in there. And I did it just a little bit higher than center. And there we go.
Awesome.
Okay, now we're going to make this cute little pumpkin tag. We're going to use a piece of Very Vanilla, and we're going to stamp it with black. And what we're using here is this pumpkin, and it's from the Seasonal Chums bundle. So it comes with these stamps and these dies here, so you can punch them out. So on both sides, I don't know if you can see this very well. I'm going to grab one. There's the pumpkin one that we'll be using. And it, whoops, butterfingers. It cuts out both sides, and it even has like a little tag that you could use it as a tag. We're not for this purpose, but you could. Okay, so we're going to stamp this here. Go this way. Make sure I get a good, good stamp here. We're just going to stamp it on here, and what we're going to do is once we have this on here, oh, look at that, that's not too bad. We're going to color the pumpkin with these Stampin' Up! Markers. We're going to use Pumpkin Pie, Old Olive, and Daffodil Delight. And I think we're just going to, oh yes, here we go. We're just going to color those off camera so you don't have to watch me color. Okay, so we've die cut this out. And see, I was talking this little tag here, so you would fold it over, and it could be a tag. But let's put a little wink of Stella on here. I love this stuff. Everything needs a little bit of sparkle, or a lot, depending on your love of sparkle. So we'll just...
I say a lot of sparkle, Summer.
Yeah, I do too.
Are you guys all kind of addicted to using Wink of Stella on everything? It's like, it just seems like it's not finished anymore unless I've got a little Wink of Stella somewhere. So here on this card, we did it on the pumpkin.
It shimmers. So we've just fancied that up with some Wink of Stella. And we are going to trim off the tag part for this project. So you just kind of snip around there. Sorry, little tag. And then you fold it in half. Perfect. And then what I just did is I put, okay, so first of all, I just kind of finagle where I want this to go. Just kind of eyeball it, see like, oh, like that's super cute. And to keep it in place, I take a Stampin' Dimensional, and if I can grab one, and I put it on the front, just lift that up, put it near the bottom so I know that it's gonna stick. It won't stick to that glimmer paper. And that, oops, get out of there. I want it right there, so I'll push that down, and then I'll lift it up, and I will put the back on there. You can see I kind of fudged my first stamp. I just didn't want to waste paper. So I put it on the other side. And there's that.
Don't you guys love that? It's like there's an image both front and back on it, so when they flip it up, you know, there's still some design element. I love that.
Now we're going to work on this banner part here, and we've got a piece of basic black cut 6 by 1 inch and a piece of Spooky Night DSP cut by 6 3/4. And as you can see, we've got a little banner right there, and I am just gonna cut it with a pair of scissors. I kind of eyeball it, and it might not be perfect, but that's okay, to the middle. That's what makes them all unique. Okay, so I've got that, maybe. It's holding on for dear life. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing with my DSP. Just start there at the corner and go to the middle. Then I'm gonna glue them to, well, maybe. Whew, that was close, wasn't it? I'm going to use my trusty Tombow here and just kind of position it. What's nice about this is it does give you some wiggle room. You don't have to go all the way to the end. It's kind of a lot of Tombow. Just kind of position it where you want it. Have a little wiggle room, so that's nice. Yeah, I was right. I thought you don't have to glue it all the way to the end because you will have some left over that you can just snip off flush with the basic black there. And there, we're going to let that dry. And then, once that's nice and dry, we're going to position it on our card. You're going to position it so these nice black tips just barely touch the edges. You kind of eyeball, make sure it's straight. And then I just, once again, held it here and folded it over. Then I took it off and kind of ran my bone folder over that a little bit. And then I'm going to use my tear and tape. Just put a little bit of tear and tape here on the edges.
And guys, I think we want to go ahead and use the tear and tape because it's a pretty heavy, you know, with having the double layer, and then with it being kind of a hinge type of a flap to it, we want to make sure that we use something really, really strong, and that's why the tear and tape is going to be the perfect adhesive for that. Oh, come on.
So I've got my tear and tape ready, and I just kind of, well, no, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I've got it where I want it. Lined up, nice and straight. Hold it here. And I just kind of lift all the sides and fold it around. There you have that.
What does the back side look like?
Well, it looks like that. And that's okay because, don't forget, we've got this piece of backing. And we're just going to, we'll do that next, glue it on there to cover all of our
That way we don't see the tabs.
Yeah.
Yep, nice clean back.
We've got our backing on there, and now we're going to do the cat. And part of the Spooky Nights DSP is this paper that just has cats all over it, and it coordinates perfectly with the new cat punch. So we're just going to stick that in there, and I would like an orange cat. So I'm just going to punch that out. And then we already punched out a coordinating just pumpkin pie orange one. So I'm going to take a dimensional here, maybe. I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want him. That looks nice there. I'll stick this here. And he's going to hang out there. And I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure you've got it the right way, because I tried to do this once and put the dimensional on the wrong side, and that didn't work at all. So I did. It was bad news. Just kind of line up. I figure if I got his tail lined up, we're good. And there he is. Isn't he adorable?
It is. It's so cute. I absolutely love the design of this card because, again, like everything has a backing to it. So the pumpkin has a front and back look, and our kitty cat has a front and back look, and very interactive. Well, thank you so much, Summer, for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No problem. And we hope that you guys have a great day and happy crafting. Bye-bye.